Hello everyone. So this is a new type of video. I've been inspired to do this, and I've been pretty inactive. Um, the last, wow, I don't know how long it's been actually. I haven't even checked, but I've been inactive, and I've needed to be. Um, so I make no apologies for that because in life sometimes you have to take a step back from things, and this is a new type of video. There's no intro music, no outro music, just one screen, and it's going to be called From the Heart, and I'm just going to talk about me. Um, and what my journey's kind of been lately because it's been a bit different. I recognised for a while, um, recently, for a while, I was getting quite fed up, I suppose, angry, overwhelmed by the ignorance that I was seeing around me. Um, because when you've sort of, and I mean this with no ego, when you've got a certain awareness on the world and you've got knowledge because it's knowledge. I've spent a lot of time researching, reading, watching. So many great minds out there. So much good information, and I've got a good grip on what's going on in the world. And you'll understand if you're at a similar point of awareness that it's blooming frustrating at times. Now, I had to take a step back, and when I take a step back, I sometimes go very inward. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because, as I've said in my consciousness rising videos, it starts from within. Everything you need to know, and you are all the power you ever need. And I really recognise that. I know that. I know that through my heart, through my soul. You don't need to look outside yourself, and that's one of the main problems humanity faces is the constant looking outside of ourselves for a savior. You are your own savior. You can only be your own savior. No one can save you but yourself. And yeah, I took a step back. I've took a step back from people, um, and just pretty much gone it within. And I've got to a point now where I feel much more balanced. It's it's so important to do that. Um, And researching and speaking the truth has become such a passion and so important to me. But it came to the point in my life where it was all I was doing. I wasn't pursuing any artistic hobbies that I used to enjoy. Um, and that's so important to have balance. You've got to have downtime. You've got to have time for you to fuel your soul. You've got to have things that bring you joy. Because otherwise life can get very heavy. And humor's so important, so important. So I took a step back from researching. I took a step back from making these videos. I took a step back from even speaking. Uh, a lot of my thoughts. I don't really share much on my social media platforms anymore. And even though, to a certain degree, I was just becoming very not obsessed. That's not the right word, but I was having spare time and I was just browsing through social media, and it's the same old bullshit. And I got sick of it, so I uninstalled it. I don't really go on there much now. I do have a business page on Facebook that I use for my therapy work, and that's about it really. I share the odd thing, but yeah, it's very easy to become sort of swept up in it all, and you have to know when to take a step back because that's balance. And if you've got toxic people in your lives, people that bring you down, and you know energetically who these people are, you know, they'll as soon as they're in your presence, you just feel fed up and they drain the life force out of you. Cut those people off. You don't need that in your life, you know, because they just bring you down. You need you need to sort of feed your soul and be around the people that bring you joy, bring you happiness, honour your path and respect what you're doing. And anyone that's not doing that has to go. You know, it's too late in the game for that now. To be holding on to, and I'm going to sound awful here, but dead weight. And that's where I came to with waking people up as well. You know, I put these videos out and my consciousness rising ones, to inspire others, to hopefully spread some knowledge, awareness in the hope that people can wake up. But I was getting to the point where I was getting stressed out about it, and I just thought, I can't live like this anymore, you know. And Thomas Sheridan, I watch quite a lot of his videos, and he says, wake yourself up, and those that follow will follow. Don't stress about waking other people up, and that's what I was doing. But no more. I'm a very different person now. I feel like I've gone through a sort of a test, if you like, and we all do. Life's not easy. Life's not meant to be easy. We all have challenging times, but when you come out the other end of it and you go within and you understand the lesson on a deep, deep level, you will grow as a soul. And yeah, that's been really, really important. And even the ignorance in the world, it's not bothering me anymore because, you know, I suppose if I really brought myself down to that level, it would. But I've gone beyond that now. I understand. And I have this weird, deep inner knowing that something big is coming its way and it's for the greater good. I cannot explain where that comes from, but I have to trust it. Because when you trust your intuition, it doesn't really lead you wrong. And I suppose what I was doing is just seeing the negative everywhere. And, it's not all negative. There's a lot of positivity around. Um, and if you can't find it, be it, you know? And, I mean, my therapy work lately has been amazing. Um, I There's nothing brings me greater joy than sharing knowledge and wisdom with people. But when people come for therapy and you see the growth in another soul, oh, that means so much to me. That you know, that's worth everything to me. And I feel like my path's been worth it. You know, um, if you just reach one, your path's been worth it. But I've been very, very blessed to be able to sort of be part of a lot of people's journey as they've come to change. Because therapy ultimately is about changing yourself. And many people don't want to do that. I spoke about that in my shadow work video. Um, Most people run a mile when you say, to change the world, you have to change yourself first. People don't want to hear that. They just want someone else to do it all for them. But that's not. You have to be the change and then output it into the world. And I'm very blessed to be a part of that work and meet some amazing, amazing souls on my journey, and to see them grow through the work that they're doing with me is incredible. It really is. And I've got a bit more work. I've got another role that I've taken on, and that seems to be going well. And my finances have been not too bad. I have in the past, believe me, I have struggled. I've struggled like mad. I've sort of been really on the bones of my arse and having to live on sort of help from other people, and that didn't do me any good really. Didn't do my self-esteem any good. It was necessary for the time, but I've sort of got to a point now where I'm in balance. I'm not I'm not driving Mercedes, or I haven't got five houses, but I don't want any of that anyway. God blimey. Um, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing, inspiring others, and being part of people's journey along the way with the therapy work. And I'm really at peace with myself at the moment, and it feels amazing. Um, I've been reading. I say reading. I have the odd audio book, and I've been really, really, really into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a bit like Bruce Lipton, I suppose, in the sense that he looks at epigenetics, he looks at neuroscience. Excuse me. He He combines spirituality but explains it in a very scientific way using quantum mechanics. Fascinating stuff, absolutely fascinating stuff. The book that I've just finished is You Are the Placebo. Absolutely brilliant book. And he's proving what I'm saying, through science. Because there's a lot of crap science out there, it's got to be said. Because, they're bought off and they're playing to an agenda. But there are some really, really good scientists out there that are not in the mainstream, because I don't feel that he is really, and nor is Bruce Lipton. But I would say Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and Greg Braden are kind of like, to me, they're the top three at the moment that are really pushing the whole mind-body connection and connection to source, which they explain through science. It's there, it's all there. It's fascinating stuff. I highly recommend you look into that stuff. And it's sort of through that book really. I haven't done any. I've got the meditations as well that go with it, and I'm going to be starting them soon. But because I have meditated a lot in the past, and it's something I want to give more time to. Um, but it's sort of changed my mindset a lot because he talks a lot about being victims of the past and how your subconscious programming, which I've done a video on, how we often default to that mode of thinking because of our patterning and conditioning in childhood, and he explains it all like I did in, I think it was episode 2, where I talked about the theta state, the brain waves, and it's sort of what he's saying. But basically, is if you can recognize every time you default to your patterns, your negative patterns, as in your false beliefs about yourself, like you're not good enough, or I'm not good at this, I'm crap at this, I'll never earn enough money, I'll never be this, I'll never be that. They're all false beliefs that you carry because of your subconscious programming and conditioning. Now, what he sort of proposes in the book is that instead, every time you're aware that you're doing that, stop and think of the future. But don't think of the future. You're creating it. So what you're doing is you're co-creating with the universe. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, the universe, blessed me with this, universe blessed me with that. But they fail to recognise their part in it. They are you, all of us, are co-creators with the universe. The universe plays a part, but you have to be the part as well. You are a creator. You're here to create. And you can create heaven on earth. Heaven is not some state that you have to die, the physical body has to die to get to. You can create it here and now. All the dimensions, all the different place, all this stuff, it's within you. It's not out of reach. And he puts that very clearly in the book. So what he sort of says, thoughts, emotions, and actions. You've probably heard me talk about that in my videos, but if you want to create the future you want, think it. Stop defaulting to your patterns, and then when you think about it, bring your emotions into it. So don't just say, for instance, you want to earn enough money to get by, and you're really struggling financially. Think about what it would feel like to have that money now. To get all your needs met. Think of abundance, not of lack. And then when you think of it, bring the emotions in. What that does is, if it signals to your body epigenetically, it fires your genes to the as if the because the brain doesn't know the difference. Basically, is what he's saying. So the brain will already identify with that new future as if it's already existing. If you can keep doing that, you'll create that future. And I've even written myself a little mantra. I'm not going to read it because it's quite personal, and I'm going to read that every night before I go to bed, and I'm going to feel it as if it's happening now. And you'll see magical things happen because the universe will respond. That's quantum mechanics. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend that. Fantastic book. So yeah, I've been on a bit of a journey lately. I have got more content planned. I'm still gonna be doing the consciousness rising videos. I've got one ready to go, and it's been ready to go for ages. But I recognised that I needed to take a step back, from all this. And I mean, I said from day one I would only do these videos when I could. And my life has become very, very busy again, which is another important factor to make sure I look after myself, make sure I get enough sleep, make sure I eat well. Um, I've been doing stretches in the morning to help my back because I suffer with back problems, and I'm trying to. I feel like I'm in much more control of my life. I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm in control of my body, and that is a magical place to be. And I just wish that for everyone. Yeah, the world's going topsy turvy, but if you want it to change, you have to change yourself. I've said that from day one. I mean, I've even got back into playing the odd video game, and people go, "Oh, video games, this, video games that," but a little bit of escapism is not actually a bad thing. I don't obsess about it, but I needed to switch off. I needed to switch off from all this, from all the truth movement, all this research and stuff. I was downloading things 10 to the dozen. I was back thinking about backing them up on disc. But even with that, I've had a bit of a shift because I mean this with no ego. But when you get to a certain point of awareness, things become repetitive because there's nothing new under the sun. And I feel that I've got to the point now where it is primarily about putting the message out. It's not so much about the research. Although, yeah, I still love to research. I still love to find things. I feel like I'm at a point now, and I don't mean this egotistical, where I've learned not everything, because you never learn everything. You always evolve. But I've learned enough to push my message out even stronger, because I'm just at this point of awareness now where I have this inner knowing. But not only do I have the inner knowing, because I've had the inner knowing for a while, I've got the balance that I needed. I was lacking balance. I'd got sort of too, not like I say, not obsessional, but it had become all about me. And there's so much more to me than just doing this, and doing the therapy. I love those things. They mean the world to me. But I like to just switch off and watch a comedy film occasionally, or play my guitar. That's something I started to do again recently, and I hadn't done that for so long. Um, I was, and listening to music. Music's so important to me. It's been such a huge part of my life. Film's important to me. I know there's some that are full of agenda, but there's some that are bloody uplifting, and have, emotionally taught me so much in life, So there's two sides to everything, You could, if yeah, and playing a video game, people say, "Oh, that's a waste of time." No, it ain't. Not if it brings you a bit of joy. Why should you be robbed of joy just to put out messages of truth? You got to look after your own well-being, and I feel like I'm finally getting a real good balance in my life, and it feels really, really good. And that's about it. I think no script, no slideshow, no intro music, no outro music. This just is what it is. It's from the heart. What's the date today? It's the 13th of October, 2020. All right. And if this message resonates with you, maybe you've been through a similar journey, And I always said that I wouldn't really talk about myself on this, but I've had such an urge to do this for a while. So here it is, guys, from the heart. No script. Take care. See you in the next one.